For this video, we're going to take a quick look at how to add categories to the gradebook, and also talk a little bit about how to aggregate grades and just how to set up the gradebook in general. The first thing you might want to do in the gradebook is click on the My Preferences tab. So this is set up for you in advance, and it shows you how grades are aggregated. The thing I wanted to show you was this students per page. I have mine set to 5. You could set this anywhere from 5 to 10. However, if you leave it in the default, which is, I'm not sure what it is, but it shows all your students on one page, the default. It can make it really difficult to do grading or track student grading. It's because you have to scroll down all the way down to the bottom of the page, and I'll show you what I mean. Once your gradebook starts getting larger, you have this scroll bar at the bottom. So you can imagine that if you've got a student up here, but you've got all your students on one page, you'd have to scroll way down to move the scroll bar back and forth, and it just makes grading really awkward. So that's why I recommend in Preferences that you set up your gradebook so that there's no more than 8 students per page. So that's not the focus of what we're talking about right now, though. What I want to talk about is categories and items, first of all. So the Moodle Gradebook, or the WebAccess Gradebook, if you wanted to, you could just leave it just as it comes to you out of the box, with no categories and no weighted grades. However, most teachers use categories and they weight grades in the gradebook. So for example, in this view of the gradebook here, you can see that there are 3 categories for our new Faculty Institute. One is homework, which is 20% of the grade overall. Quizzes, which make up 30% of the overall grade. And the final project, which is 50%. So obviously your weights have to add up to 100%, and also you'd want to include the maximum grade for each category. So you don't have to worry about when you're putting grades into WebAccess. You want to focus on the weight of the grade, not so much the points. Remember, we're not adding up points. WebAccess does have a grade setting called Sum of Grades, in which you could set up your gradebook so that it was only about how many points students got, and they would have to have a X amount of points at the end of the class. However, most people don't set up their gradebook that way. I just wanted to show you that that is available there. So when you set up a gradebook that has categories and that has weighted categories, you must set up the overall gradebook to be weighted mean of grades, and then each category is set up as simple weighted mean of grades. And when you do that, you will see this weight box appear. It doesn't always appear, it only appears when you have your gradebook calculated or set up a certain way. So I just want to show you an example of an assignment. If for some reason you decide to set up categories after you've already added assignments to your course, which could very well happen, you can move items in the gradebook and put them where you want them to go. So for example, let's say I had done this assignment, I created this assignment in my class, but after I did that, I decided I was going to go into the gradebook and set up categories. So now I need to move this assignment. I'm going to put it up here in homework. So all I have to do to move items is just click here in the little box, and I can move the selected items to the homework. I've moved homework right now. And of course I want to make sure that I save changes whenever I do anything like that. So now, as you can see, I have an example assignment up here. It's worth 100 points. The orientation is worth 100 points, but the category total is worth 100 points. So I don't really have to worry myself too much about this. Just make sure that I know that this is 20% of their grade. Moodle will do that calculation for me. So this 100 points is worth 50% of their grade, whereas this 100 points is worth 20%. But don't worry too much about that. Moodle will figure it all out for you. And the total course is just 100%. These are percentages that you're seeing here. Alright, so pretty much that's all there is for this particular assignment of setting up categories. I did want to show you in here, there's a tab called Letters. This corresponds to your grade lettering. If you have grade lettering, like if you're telling students 100% to 93% is equal to an A, maybe you say 100% to 95% is equal to an A. In that case, you would want to go in and edit these amounts, these grade boundaries, to make sure that they match up with what you have in your syllabus. So just so you know that this is in here under Letters. Legacy Outcomes, we haven't actually uploaded legacy outcomes yet. Hopefully that we're going to be doing that in the near future. The other item I want to show you is the view. This is your standard view of the gradebook. However, another option that you have is the user report, and in that case you can actually view the grades by student. And if you do that, you just see that student's grades and any feedback that you've given that student. So at some point you might want to drill down and just look at specific users, maybe when you're thinking about filling out your final grade report. Okay, so that's basically the beginning information about the gradebook. If you need more help, please contact me via email at alexandera@smccd.edu.